Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for Friday, April 8. And just looking at the S&P for a moment, what we've been looking for here was wave 3 here with an A and a B and a C here for wave 4. So as long as the market stays above this level here, then we'll be looking for 5 waves somewhere up into this space here above here, which is roughly the 618%, probably a little bit higher. I'll just check. But yeah, not to worry, but somewhere up there, and we're looking for 5 waves up. So that's our story, as long as that low stays in place. If that low doesn't stay in place, then we've got a bearish picture. We are looking for also a bearish picture up here. We're also looking for a bullish picture up here, but in both cases, and the same with the Australian market, is we'll be looking for a corrective move back. And in that corrective move, we can go long over here. Otherwise, we need to be looking at a bearish picture if this second top doesn't get taken out. We'll talk about that again. I've been talking about it. We'll continue to talk about it more so as it unfolds. But as long as that stays above that current low now, then if it doesn't, well, then you can short it, and it'll be the same for the Australian market as well. We need to build up from here. The bullish weekly cycle should see Friday and Monday strong. If Friday doesn't close strong, then we've also got a problem as well. So that wave 4 on the Australian market is this one here, and we're looking for a move to the upside. Once we get up here, it also can be wave B by looking at this as an A and a B and a C wave here, and then move down. So we need to gather information over here for this. It's the US banks that are on the weak side for all of this. Let's just drill into the intraday and have a little walk through. So yeah, as long as this corrective move stays in place here, then we can look to the upside. Otherwise, we need to look to short it below, or any stops need to be below one of these 2 lows here that you're looking at here, this one or that one. In terms of going long, I think we've got a little half a trade sitting in here somewhere, but we want the number 5 here, the 7,500, the 500 is the important thing. We want that as support. So visually you need to see that as support, and then you would trade up to 600 and take some profit there, and the rest of it at 7,650, the beginning of group 2. So that will be our plan. We may change that along the way depending on how the 5 wave structure looks at that point, and we'll also need to line that up with the banks during the Australian operating hours and the US indices in the non-operating hours. So on the hourly chart, I think we talked about it here, didn't really sort of get triggered in here, but on the tick chart we did. So yeah, so probably a couple of ways to look at this, but it doesn't really matter. What we want to do here is, I mean, we just need a high above here really, but what we want to see is a little high above here to go long on here. You want to kind of sort of have some understanding that we've made a new high. They normally fold back and test into the closest largest number, and then when they're breached again, then it's proving to you that the market is strong, and that's the point of the wave that you need to surf higher. So we want to go to the 100 ticks. So yesterday we were searching for the low here. Now we didn't get it on the S&P. The S&P came down sort of further on this, but so I'm not quite sure how to look at this little guy here, to be honest. I can see it in the banks as well. It looks like it's in sort of 3 waves here. I can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. I can see that that's an impulse wave. So I'm wondering if this wave C or 4 needs to come over here for this, or we've got, this is why I'm a little bit concerned, because we could look at it as an A wave, a B wave and a C wave up here, and then fail from this point and come down again. So this is why it's important at this stage, even though we got little half a position here, is to get that first high above the level, and this little box here is the 50-60% retracement level. So there's going to be a fair bit of pressure around that 7.5 there in that instance. But this sort of odd looking thing here also came from CBA. So with CBA here, we're also looking for wave 4 to pull back and then move up there. But on the tick chart, 100 ticks, I just want to point this out a little bit here. So this particular low here, it's got got this sort of little bit of weirdness here, which almost looks like 5 waves down here, but hasn't made a new low here. You can see 5 waves here easy enough as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this was a corrective wave, it would be an A and a B and a C here. So taking this top out here is something that we can do, but we can always bring it down to the second high here. So if that's breached, then we can be long at that point, and your stop would go under here for that. Okay, so I'll leave that there. So what I'm saying is I understand this leg here, but this one here looks a little bit sort of wonky, and I thought, well, does it belong to this move coming down? That would make sense. So I've kind of pulled this apart as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2, and then I've got my 5 waves in this structure here. I know it's a little bit hard to see, and A, B, C for 4 here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I'm good to go on the A, B and C here for wave 4. So it must be sort of 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here or something. I'm not quite sure what it is. The resistance to the upside for the bank will be, well, at the 50% and the 61.8% here. So yeah, once we've got that as the support, that level there as support, then you know you're good to go to the rest of the way, you know. But if we get there anyway, I'm pretty sure we're okay. So it may be that we're 1, 2, 3 and 4 here, and then 5 to here. So we could go to 5 here and then have an A and a B and a C. But if we're going to be positive on the Friday, then we won't be pulling back too far. But as always, keep your stop 61.8% below, find out where that is, and then just go to another low down here. So we need to stop down here for that, in that regard. So we'll just copy that and plonk that under that little low there, and we'll just paint the town red for a moment, and that will be it at that point. So yeah, so if there is a trade here, then it's up to the 10 here and maybe a little bit higher than that. So we'll keep that in mind. I mean, can this be 1, 2, 3, 4 and then coming down for 5? Sure, that's possible. So this is probably, well, it's risen 50% rather than 40%, so it's probably not the case, but still could be. But anyway, that's why we've got to stop in place there. That's the risk there that you need to take. So yeah, so that's why. So that little sort of dude in here is a bit unclear here, and it's sort of shown up back here as being unclear as well. So I'm not sure how to approach this just yet. The penny will drop at some point, and I'll need to sort of pull it apart and have a closer look. In a nutshell, we want the 7,500 as the support here for that. So if Combank gets triggered out, then you can go with this as well straight away, you know. Could you go in here? I don't see why not as well. We should see a pop on the Friday, but I'll leave that up to you. Yeah, so let's move along a little bit. We normally look at iron ore first, don't we? So where's my, I forgot to look at my iron ore stock, so bring them up. First one is, the first one I come to is Fortescue here. So as I mentioned, with the other stocks, we're getting them to pull back a little bit, but Fortescue doesn't really need to do that. It's kind of got its mind of its own, as I've mentioned, coming up through all of this, and it looks like 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So it'll have 3, 4 and 5 up here. So we don't really need to add any more on this. We'll do that when we get this ABC to pull back here. So we need that. This is where we can go long again on this low here, and that will be the sort of wave 2 sort of situation over there. Now Rio's pulled back a little bit further, but still sticking there quite nicely. I'm not sure what iron ore's done just yet. I'll have a look in a moment when we get there with you. But yeah, we want to see, this is looks like some sort of impulse wave, and what we're looking for really is some give us some sort of correction that we can sort of build in on. That's what I'm looking for here with this. Oops, a daisy. I'm going to get rid of that, and that. So yeah, we've got this position. You may have another position in here as well. But yeah, we just need to wait. And this 120 is also the 61.8% retracement level from this. So there's there's 3 good reasons why it's not going anywhere very quickly. And the other one is BHP. So BHP, so with BHP we could count a bit of a 5-wave move up here, so we're looking for something to move back, but we'll take that top out if it goes. Otherwise we'll have a look at the intraday coming into next week. There we'll try and get some sort of bearing on confirming this and also confirming what we've got here in that particular space. I'm not sure what iron ore has done, so we need to double check. I need to check on that. It's a little bit softer, so just, yeah, I thought you can kind of see it really. It's the arrival here, the reaction, the first high above the level, then the ABCs occurring here. So yeah, no biggie at this point. So I think it works out 160 a ton now at 901 for this. But anyway, everything's okay with the iron ore stuff. We can just leave that. So I'll remove these. It's the gold I'm not sure about. So see, with a wave 2, it's normally really quite simple. It's 5 waves, 3 waves and 5 waves. So based on that, that should be the low in place here. But the moves up here, I haven't really been getting them as impulse waves, you know, like to move up here. I'm just not getting it, you know. And in fact, it's kind of giving me a bit of a triangle pattern through here and looking a little bit sort of like a wave 4. And then I'll start to think to myself, well, do I have this wrong here? Does this wave E and 4 need to go over here? And I'll need to look at that as 1 and 2 and a third wave up here and then a fourth wave here, because it's getting a bit more complicated. But as a fourth wave, it's pulled back to the 61.8%. So that's not looking good either. So I'm kind of a bit of in a rock and a hard place with this, to be honest. So we'll just go back into where we're sort of been hanging out with this. So that's where are we, in here somewhere? I mean, crude oil, because there's been quite a few stocks that have had, or not stocks, so commodities that have had this particular pattern with, you know, some sort of top up here and then a move down and this and so on. And, you know, crude oil, that's moving lower. Let me just double check on crude. See, crude's been moving lower. It's only a 10 tick chart. We need to get a bit more data in here just to sort of get the full picture of that situation. So yeah, I mean, even still we get a bit more as well. So look, it's come down to the A wave over here for this. It's come down here and then done this, and then so it's kind of doing everything that that I thought it would do, you know. It's been a bit tricky in here, but this trickiness in here has showed up in silver and gold and copper and so on, and it's sort of thrown me out a little bit. I mean, it still looks bearish here, doesn't it? It's testing these lows, they're going to find support and so on. So it's hard to call that up as wave 1 and 2. So I've got to kind of stay with this, but even as a wave 2 here, I mean, maybe I need to look at this as a wave 4 here, because it's just not really, yeah, I'm having difficulty. I've got problems, and I've got problems in here as well for this. So I've had it as the A wave and the B wave, and then down for 1, back for 2, and I can stay with that story as down for 1, back for 2 here, down for 1, back for 2, and down for 1 here, an A, and then a B wave and a C wave here. That's probably got one more little push up here for that. But anything sort of beyond that, any move above that, and that negates this sort of bearish count at that point, you know. So the other point of this is that, do we have a B wave over here? But it's hard for me to look at it like that too, because I'd have to have a look at this as the A, the B, the C, the D and the E here just for that one. But this is in 5 waves here. I've been over that, so it can't be into that space. So yeah, so I mean, there's probably a good case for, just as good case for that wave 2 to be in there, you know. So I'm not quite sure what I've got here at the moment. As I mentioned yesterday, what I was kind of looking for here, what would help me here, is that if the 1920 became the retested resistance, then would be definitely pulling to the downside. If the 1930 became the support, then we need to look to the upside. So on the support side here, then we've got really the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern here. So this would tell me that I'd need to be long above this point here. That's what that's telling. Putting my trading hat off and getting the analyst to stand aside for a moment, I've got myself a little classic trading levels pattern sitting here. So really, either that's got to be the top right there for this wave 1 here as an A and a B and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and finish there, or we're going to be going up. And if we're going up, are we going into more complicated B correction, or do we have wave 2 in here? That's what I don't know at the moment. Okay, so when it comes to new crest here, all I know is that, well, because I make mistakes, and by doing it this way I negate a lot of my mistakes. I start from the top, then I come down to the second top here, and if that gets triggered, okay, we go long. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. Or otherwise we come back down here. So I just sort of leave it like that and let the market tell me, you know, the market's the boss, so I've got to do what I'm told, and I'm doing that. So even though I'm sort of don't know myself and feeling a bit useless at the moment, I just really need to, you know, allow it to be at the moment. So that's what I'll do. So if gold just push up here, then we need to be long at that point, because we'll be going higher at that point. Okay, and then we'll have to bring this wave 2 in over here. Alrighty, and the Australian dollar, we talked about this yesterday in terms of the bigger picture and so on and so on, looking for that top. So what we got here now is a little bit more of the story. So we'll just remove these for a moment. So let me double check. Kind of need to put that in over here actually. And that to there, that would give me 1, 2. I'm kind of ignoring the spike a little bit. I'll have to do some work on this. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So that would be, I'm just ignoring the spike, but I'll put that there and that there, that's okay. And then that will give me down to 5 here. Doesn't matter too much, because even if I've got this wrong here and we come down a bit further, I still can't chase it down, because what we need to do is we need to find that ABC pattern wherever it comes in, and that's what we're looking for. So I'll just redraw this. It doesn't matter if we come down further, but we still need, it's all about the B wave here. It's all about this little fella here. So that's where we'll look to short it. Again. I mean, it kind of also looks like all of this is just the third wave to here as well. But either way, we need a correction. We need a retest of this. It's come through, and we need that retest. Once it retests that, once it retests that, you can also just put that under there as well. Okay, so let's just assume that it could come down further, or it could just retest the 75 here, right? Then that low is exposed, so that you can short that low at that point. But it does look like this is just wave 1 and this is all of the third wave here. So anyway, kind of follows the S&P a little bit, so we should see some sort of firming up of this. Yeah, we want the other side of this. We don't need to do anything else here. We've got that trade, half a trade there. We've got it to break even. So we've got a little bit of profit that will disappear once this rally comes in as well. But anyway, we're doing all the right things. Let me just check on the intraday somewhere down in 20, see if I can just nail that down a little bit further. Clearly that's 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth, 5. So we know that that's 1 and 2. Okay, well that's clear. The spike doesn't look too bad here actually. That would still be working from the back end here. 1, 2, 1 and 2. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. And 3, 4, 5. So that's got to be the third wave here then the fourth and the fifth here. But what's all just sort of Not doing much in this side here. Let's look at this as as the fourth here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 here somewhere, and 5 here. I'll give it a bit of time. I still need that could be the low right here. Anyway, we need it to stick to that 5 here. We need to see it above the 5 again. So I won't worry about it today. We'll see what it does today, and then Monday it should be in a bit more of a shape. It does look like we're getting a little bit of an impulse wave off the low here, so that's good. So we'll probably have to have wave 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 down here, and then the ABC. But not there yet with it. Okay, I'll leave it all at that. So enjoy the weekend. Cheers.